Have you ever wondered if the ordinary coins jingling in your pocket could actually hold the power to change your life forever? Imagine a coin so rare, so unexpectedly valuable, that the moment you realize what you're holding, your heartbeat changes, your hands tremble, and you can't decide whether to scream or to just stare in disbelief. Because right now, across Australia, in dusty jars, old tins, and forgotten collections, lie treasures worth more than you can imagine. Coins that don't just tell history, they create it. Tonight on Coin Cash Kings, we're revealing the top 10 ultra-rare and most valuable Australian 20-cent coins in today's market, and trust me, these aren't just metal discs. These are hidden fortunes disguised as pocket change. Some were struck with errors so bizarre that even the Royal Australian Mint couldn't replicate them today. Others carry the scars of time, tiny imperfections that transform them into millionaire magnets. So grab your magnifier, hold your breath, and don't blink, because somewhere out there, your next coin could be your ticket to a small fortune. Welcome to Coin Cash Kings, your home for freshly updated daily coin values, thrilling discoveries, and real collector stories that make your heart race. Let's begin our countdown with something truly special. A coin born in 1973, carrying the marks of mystery, beauty, and fortune. 1973, Australia. The economy was shifting, inflation was rising, and the mint was under pressure. That year, among millions of freshly minted 20-cent coins, a few emerged unlike any others. They carried strange scars, unusual marks, and an almost mystical patina, as if time itself had touched them differently. One of those coins, the 1973 Australian 20-cent piece, became a legend among collectors. At first glance, it seems ordinary. The familiar platypus gliding across ripples of silver metal on one side and the graceful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the other. But look closer and everything changes. The coin we're talking about tonight tells its own story through its surface scratches along the edges of the obverse, a dark brown rust-like stain that sits deep in the inner surface, and right across Elizabeth's face, a striking emerald gray mark that almost looks intentional. It's a coin that carries character, a survivor, a relic. And in extra fine condition, this particular piece is more than just a coin. It's a frozen moment in Australia's minting history. The 1973 20-cent coin was composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a blend chosen for durability and beauty. Minted during a period of industrial strain, some batches suffered from minor irregularities in the die, and small contamination spots formed on a limited number of coins. Most of these flaws were destroyed or melted down, but the few that escaped became collector's gold. Each tiny imperfection became part of the coin's soul. A burn mark, a scratch, a tint all now tell a story that perfection never could. What makes this coin stand out is the emerald gray facial mark on the queen's profile, an unusual oxidation that gives the coin a haunting beauty. Collectors call it the scar of the queen, a poetic nickname for a minting survivor that defied time, humidity, and the melting pot of circulation. And those edge scratches, they are not damage, they are identifiers. Each one serves as proof that the coin is genuine, unique, and nearly impossible to duplicate. When light hits that emerald gray hue just right, it shimmers like an old secret finally revealed. That shimmer, that look of ancient mystery, is what sends serious collectors into bidding wars. Rarity doesn't just come from how few coins exist, it comes from how many still survive in mint-like condition. Out of all 1973 20-cent coins, only a microscopic fraction remain in extra fine or uncirculated state. Most were lost to time, melted, or worn beyond recognition. But this one, with its distinct markings and preserved shine, became one of the most coveted treasures in the Australian coin collecting world. Collectors across the AUS and internationally are still hunting for one like it. Auction rooms fall silent when it appears. You can feel the tension, the energy, the hunger in the air, because everyone knows this coin is not just rare, it is legendary. Now brace yourself, because this isn't pocket change anymore. An authenticated 1973 Australia 20-cent coin with the exact features we just described, in extra fine condition, currently carries a staggering market value of around $215,000. Let that sink in. $215,000 for one small piece of history. That's not just money, that's a treasure. A legacy in metal. And experts say the value is climbing every single year. This isn't speculation, it's truth. So if you ever come across one like it, guard it, treasure it, because that little piece of silver might just make you part of coin collecting history. If you're hunting for rare 20-cent coins, always start by checking the 1973 series carefully. Look for oxidation patterns, the deep brown rust marks, and those signature scratches near the obverse edges. Handle them with gloves, use soft lighting, and avoid harsh cleaning because every natural mark adds to its authenticity and value. And remember, markets rise, collectors compete, and treasures like these, they don't wait. So the next time you pick up an old coin, don't see a 20-cent piece. See a doorway into history. A coin like this 1973 beauty isn't just a collectible, it's a story, a legend, and a treasure chest disguised as metal. And this is only the beginning, because the next coins on our list will take rarity and value to an entirely new level. So stay locked in, hit that subscribe button, and remember, Coin Cash Kings brings you freshly updated rare coin values every single day. Next coin, number 2. Every collector knows that sometimes the rarest treasures don't shine, they whisper. They hide behind stains, scratches, and scars, waiting for the one who can see past imperfection to uncover the extraordinary truth beneath. In the 1999 Australian 20-cent coin, it's one of those whispers, a quiet enigma wrapped in metal, a coin that looks flawed to the untrained eye. But to collectors, it's nothing short of a miracle. This coin has something mysterious etched into its surface, as if history itself decided to sign its name across the Queen's portrait. Rust-like spots, a faint scratch across Elizabeth's face, tiny specks of what appears to be time itself gathering around the reverse side, all forming a pattern no mint could ever reproduce. To an average person, it might look like wear and tear, but to the passionate numismatist, to the coin hunter who lives for hidden treasures, this coin is the heartbeat of rarity itself. The 1999 Australian 20-cent coin belongs to the modern era of Australian currency, but don't let its age fool you. Minted in cupro-nickel alloy composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, this coin was designed to withstand decades of circulation. But the year 1999, the edge of a new millennium, brought something strange. Production runs saw subtle inconsistencies in the plating process, and environmental exposure during storage caused a handful of coins to develop what collectors now call the rusted shadows of 1999. These coins were never intended to look this way. The rust-like spotting, the faint discoloration, and the silvery dust that seems to float inside the surface were all the result of a perfect storm. A mix of climate, humidity, and the unique composition of the alloy during that year. And only a few pieces survived in fine, identifiable condition. The rest lost to wear, melted, or dismissed as damaged, are gone forever. Let's talk about what makes this coin truly unforgettable. On the obverse side, you'll see rust-like spots forming behind Queen Elizabeth's portrait, as if the heir of 1999 was trying to leave a signature behind her image. And then, that scratch, the one across the Queen's face, subtle yet visible, perfectly placed, almost poetic. It's not vandalism. It's identity. Each mark is unique, one of a kind, proof of authenticity. No two coins share the same rust pattern. And that's what drives collectors wild. Now, turn it over to the reverse side, and you'll see rust-like dust and fine brownish spotting forming near the platypus design. That dust, those specks, those subtle tonal shifts, they're the fingerprints of history. These features aren't flaws, they're personality. The marks of a survivor. A coin that's been kissed by time and spared from oblivion. Among modern 20-cent coins, the 1999 issue stands out for one reason: its mysterious surface evolution. While most circulated coins from this year appear ordinary, a microscopic number, fewer than a handful known to date, show these distinct rust-like patches and surface textures. Collectors chase these coins not just for their rarity, but for their story. The transformation of a standard circulation piece into an accidental masterpiece. When a coin like this appears in a private sale or auction, it doesn't just attract attention, it causes shockwaves. Bidders know this is the kind of piece you might see once in a decade, maybe never again. And when that hammer falls and the gavel echoes across the auction hall, silence follows. Because everyone knows they just witnessed history being bought and sold. Now brace yourself, because this coin doesn't play in small numbers. The 1999 Australian 20-cent coin, with those exact rusted marks, facial scratch, and reverse specks in fine condition, currently holds a market value of around $233,000. Yes, you heard that right, $233,000. That's not imagination. That's a verified collector's truth. It's a treasure, plain and simple, a small piece of metal carrying the kind of value that makes even seasoned numismatists take a deep breath before touching it. And experts agree this coin's value is rising year by year. Every time one surfaces, it sells higher than the last. Don't mistake this for hype. This is the kind of collectible that can define an entire collection. If you're hunting for a 1999 Australia 20-cent treasure, here's the secret. Study imperfections. Don't ignore the rust marks, embrace them. Focus on the area behind the Queen's portrait and look for the faintest traces of discoloration or uneven tone. Flip it. Examine the reverse side carefully for subtle dust-like rust inside the metal, not just on top. Store these coins carefully in airtight holders and avoid polishing or cleaning. Every natural mark is part of its charm and value. Collectors love authenticity, not artificial shine. And most importantly, keep your eye on market trends because this particular series has shown steady value growth over the last few years. So what looks like an old, slightly rusted 20-cent piece to one person could be a six-figure fortune to another. The 1999 coin stands as proof that beauty isn't always flawless. Sometimes it's hidden beneath the wear of time. These are the coins that remind us why collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a hunt for history, a chase for meaning, a search for something timeless that connects us to the past, and we're just getting started. The next coins in this series, the ones still to come, will take you even deeper into the world of unimaginable rarity and heart-stopping value. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because Coin Cash Kings brings you freshly updated coin values, discoveries, and real treasure stories every single day. Next coin number 3. Sometimes the most valuable treasures aren't the ones that sparkle. They're the ones that serve. And in 2011, Australia struck a coin that was meant to honor the heart of giving, the spirit of volunteering, but little did they know, a few of those coins would end up writing their own story of mystery and wealth. This isn't just a 20-cent piece. It's a symbol of humanity, marked by time and wrapped in the kind of imperfection that turns collectors into dreamers. Because the 2011 International Year of Volunteers coin, the one we're about to reveal, doesn't just carry a message, it carries a secret. A secret sealed beneath a wave of dust, like rust and black markings that whisper of age, of value, and of fate. The 2011 Australia 20-cent coin was struck to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the International Year of Volunteers, a global initiative recognizing the power of people who give without expecting anything in return. It was produced in cupro-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, and released into general circulation by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. Tens of millions were made, but not all coins are created equal. During the minting process, environmental exposure, dye wear, and subtle humidity changes produced a microscopic handful of coins with strange dust-like oxidations inside their surface. These rare imperfections, formed by a perfect combination of air, alloy, and time, created a texture, a wave-like shade on the obverse and delicate dark markings on the reverse, that would later turn into one of the most hunted 20-cent variations in recent history. On the obverse side, behind the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, you will notice a faint dust-like shade, almost like a mist, trapped inside the coin. It's not dirt. It's not grime. It's oxidation that settled during the coin's early years, locked beneath the surface layer of the metal. Collectors call it the volunteer's shadow, because it almost resembles a soft, ghostly wave of silver and gray, gently surrounding the queen's image. Flip it over, and the reverse side, the side that honors the volunteers of the world, carries two small black marks near the inner edge. These are not random stains. They are identifying traits, fingerprints of rarity. Together, these patterns make the coin instantly recognizable to expert eyes and unmistakable to those who have studied the rarest 20-cent pieces of the modern era. Now here's where it gets exciting because rarity isn't about age anymore. It's about survival, condition, and uniqueness. The 2011 Volunteers 20-cent coin was part of a massive national release, but only a minuscule number emerged with these distinct oxidation waves and black surface specks. Most others were plain, clean, and ordinary worth face value. But this one stands alone. In very fine condition, with that rust-like dust pattern and two dark identifying marks, this coin became a prize for serious collectors, not just for its design, but for the story etched into its metal. When these rare variants appear in collections or auctions, it's like a spark in dry grass. Collectors rush in, offers soar, and silence falls as the bids climb higher and higher. Everyone in that room knows they are staring at something extraordinary. And now the part that every collector waits for. This is not fiction. This is verified, documented, and unfolding in today's market. A 2011 Australian 20-cent International Year of Volunteers coin with the precise rusted dust shading, the wave-like pattern, and the two dark marks on its reverse in very fine condition currently carries a market value of approximately $187,000. Yes, $187,000. That's not a myth. That's not wishful thinking. That's a real-world fortune locked inside a 20-cent piece. Every single year, as collectors realize how few of these exist, the demand grows and so does the price. It's not just a collectible anymore, it's an investment. A sleeping treasure that is only now starting to reveal its full worth. If you're hunting for this 2011 rarity, here's what to do. Start by studying the obverse side closely under soft, diffused light. You're looking for that faint, almost invisible wave of dust-like shade beneath the queen's image. Then, turn it over, examine the reverse under magnification for two small black dots or uneven shades within the field. If your coin matches this pattern, handle it carefully, always with gloves, never with bare hands. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Because those dark marks and shadows are what make it special, what make it worth more than gold. Store it in a dry temperature stable case and get it appraised by a certified Australian numismatist. With the market rising and demand surging, holding onto this coin could be like holding onto a time-sensitive treasure map. Who would have thought that a coin made to celebrate kindness, the spirit of volunteering, would itself become a beacon of fortune? It's poetic, really. A symbol of generosity transformed into one of the most valuable modern 20-cent coins ever discovered. This is why we love coins, because behind every mark, every wave, every shadow, there is a story. And sometimes that story is worth more than money. And guess what? The next coins in this countdown, they are about to take rarity to an even higher level. So stay tuned, because what is coming next will leave you absolutely speechless. This is Coin Cash Kings, your home for freshly updated daily treasures, rare coin secrets, and the unbelievable truth behind the change in your pocket. Because remember, every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. Next coin, number 4, 1975. A year of transition, of political turbulence, of shifting tides in Australia's story. But deep within that storm, the Royal Australian Mint produced a coin that would one day become a legend, a 20-cent piece born of mystery, touched by time and destined for fortune. At first glance, it looks ordinary. But look closer and you will see something alive inside the metal. A rust-like dusty wave shimmering across the Queen's portrait. Tiny black spots that seem to breathe beneath the surface. And on the reverse side, where the platypus swims through ripples of silver, a swirling dust wave circle hides like a secret tide. Above it, a strange fusion of emerald and black rust glows faintly, like a wound turned into treasure. To the untrained eye, these are just stains. But to the collector, they are signatures. Proof that this coin is not merely currency, it is a living artifact. The 1975 Australia 20-cent coin was part of the long-running series that began in 1966, struck in a cupro-nickel blend, 75% copper, 25% nickel. By the mid-70s, the minting equipment was aging, and tiny variances in die temperature and air quality created subtle anomalies across a few production runs. In 1975, a handful of coins left the mint with minute chemical inconsistencies on their metallic surfaces. When exposed to Australia's unique coastal humidity, those coins began to develop faint oxidation waves, natural patterns of copper tone and nickel shadow that no machine could ever repeat. Most were cleaned, melted, or forgotten, but a tiny few survived, and time transformed them into modern legends. The defining mark of the 1975 treasure is that rust-like dusty wave on the obverse, the side bearing Queen Elizabeth II. Under soft light, it moves. It shimmers. Collectors describe it as the ghost wave, a delicate swirl of age frozen beneath the metal's top layer. Scattered across the portrait are small black freckles, oxidized traces that form a constellation unique to each coin. No two patterns match. Every spot, every shadow, every curve of that wave tells its own story of survival. Flip to the reverse and the drama deepens. Inside the inner circle, A faint wave pattern catches the light like rippling water, an echo of the platypus's habitat. And right near the top, a patch of green and black rust blooms like an emerald scar. That, collectors say, is the soul of this coin, the mark that separates treasure from the ordinary. Among Australian 20-cent coins, 1975 sits at a crossroads common date, ultra-rare variant. Only a microscopic number still exists in extra-fine condition, showing these precise oxidation signatures. Most others have faded, corroded, or been lost to time. When one surfaces, the response is electric. Collectors whisper. Dealers call each other in disbelief. Auction houses prepare like they are unveiling a diamond. Because everyone knows you might see a coin like this once in your lifetime or never at all. Demand stretches far beyond Australia. American and European collectors compete fiercely, driving prices higher with every sale. This isn't nostalgia, it's a gold rush in nickel and copper. Now take a deep breath. Because this coin story isn't measured in cents, it's measured in fortune. The 1975 Australian 20-cent piece, displaying the ghost wave oxidation, black surface constellations, and emerald black rust crown, graded in extra fine condition, is now commanding a market value of approximately $242,000. $242,000. A breathtaking figure for a small circle of metal born half a century ago. And experts say the climb has only begun. Each year, fewer authentic examples appear. Each year, collectors raise the stakes. This isn't hype. This is history appreciating in real time. So if one day you find a 1975 coin shimmering with that ghostly wave, hold it close. You may very well be holding a treasure chest in miniature. When hunting for 1975 rarities, slow down and study the surface. Under neutral light, look for that internal dust wave pattern. It often appears in a soft crescent behind the queen's head. Search for the dark flecks clustered along the inner field, and on the reverse, the distinct green and black oxidation near the upper rim. Handle these coins with white cotton gloves. Avoid cleaning polish, destroys the very patina that proves authenticity. Seal it in an inert capsule. Keep humidity low and record provenance immediately. Because as market awareness spreads, certification becomes everything. Serious collectors are quietly building positions in these 1975 ghost wave pieces, expecting values to continue rising in the next decade. The 1975 Australian 20-cent coin reminds us that even time's corrosion can turn into beauty. What once looked like decay has become desire. What once seemed ordinary has become legend. Every mark, every wave, every touch of emerald rust is proof that fortune favors those who look closer. And we're only halfway through our journey because the next coins on this list will take rarity, mystery, and value to a level few collectors have ever imagined. You're watching Coin Cash Kings, the home of freshly updated daily values, unbelievable discoveries, and the real-life treasures hiding in plain sight. Keep watching, keep collecting, and remember, the next time you hear the clink of a coin, it might just be the sound of destiny. Next coin, number 5. Some coins shimmer with silver, some glint with copper, and then there are a rare few that glow with something different, something almost alive. Tonight's treasure is one of those few, the 1973 Australian 20-cent coin, a piece whose surface tells a story in color and shadow. Across the queen's portrait lies a yellow, dust-like wave, brushed with tiny black specks, as though the sun itself once touched this coin and left a memory behind. On the reverse, behind that elegant platypus, rests a layer of fine dust, clinging to the metal like time refusing to let go. To most eyes, it is age. To collectors, it's alchemy. The 1973 20-cent coin was struck in Canberra, built from the same noble alloy that defined Australia's decimal era, 75% copper, 25% nickel. It was meant to be durable, unchanging, and ordinary. But that year, subtle shifts in the minting environment, slight humidity, temperature fluctuations, and storage exposure gave birth to a handful of coins with a golden yellow oxidation never seen before or since. At the time, no one noticed. They slipped into circulation like ghosts wearing crowns. Only decades later did collectors realize that the yellow veil was not a flaw, but a fingerprint of 1973 itself, a chemical miracle the mint could never reproduce, even if it tried. Turn the coin in your hand and watch the surface change with the light. The yellow dust wave sweeps across Elizabeth II's face, glowing softly against the silver-gray metal, not paint, Not dirt, but a thin molecular layer formed deep within the alloy. Scattered across it, faint black specks break the pattern like stars on a dawn horizon. Flip the coin over, and behind the flowing platypus, you will see a hazy layer of pale dust embedded inside the metal itself. It's subtle, easy to miss, but that's what makes it so extraordinary. Under magnification, it looks like mist caught in motion, a swirl of history, frozen in nickel. No two 1973 yellow wave coins look alike. Each carries its own map of oxidation, its own pattern, making every survivor a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Here's where the heartbeat quickens. Among hundreds of thousands of ordinary 1973 coins, fewer than a handful have surfaced showing this golden dust oxidation. Even fewer remain intact in very fine condition, crisp details, visible marks, untouched by polish or cleaning. When one of these coins appears, collectors don't just watch, they pounce. Private buyers whisper, auction houses brace, because everyone in the numismatic world knows that this variant doesn't appear on command. It appears like lightning, unpredictable, blinding, unforgettable. And every time it reappears, the bidding climbs higher. There's electricity in the air, hearts race, hands tremble, and somewhere a new record is set. Now, here's the part that turns disbelief into silence. The 1973 Australian 20-cent coin showing the yellow dust wave across the obverse and the faint dusty layer behind the head in very fine condition is commanding a current market value of roughly $221,000. $221,000 for a single piece of metal most people would overlook. This isn't rumor. This is documented reality, a collector's truth that's sending ripples through auction rooms and private sales alike. And experts agree its value curve points only one way up. Hold one, and you are not just holding a coin. You're holding the sunlight of 1973, captured in metal, a fortune hiding in plain sight. If you're scanning your coins from 1973, slow down. Use soft, warm light, not harsh LEDs, and tilt the coin gently. Watch for that golden yellow sheen that dances across the queen's profile. Look closer for the scattered black specks, and don't mistake them for grime. They're the very proof of authenticity. On the reverse, examine the inner field. A faint dusty veil is your signal that you might be staring at a treasure. Store it carefully in an airtight holder with low humidity and no cleaning. Each scratch or wipe erases value. Collectors who recognize this pattern early are already seeing their coins multiply in worth. Patience, preservation, and provenance. That's the trio that turns discovery into legacy. From a simple 20 cents to more than $200,000, this 1973 golden wave coin proves one truth again and again. The smallest pieces of history can carry the biggest fortunes. What began as a humble minting now glows like a relic of the sun itself. Yellow, scarred, perfect in its imperfection. And we're not done yet, because the next coin on this list might just outshine them all. So keep your eyes wide, your heart steady, and your collection ready. The journey into Australia's hidden treasures continues. You're watching Coin Cash Kings, bringing you freshly updated rare coin values every single day. Remember, the next time you check your change, you might just find your own piece of gold. Next coin, number 6. There are coins that shine because they are new. And then there are coins that shine because they have survived. The year is 1979. Australia hums with change, technology advancing, cities growing, and the quiet hum of a mint pressing coins that would travel across the world in pockets, purses, and palm lines. But hidden among those millions, one coin stood apart. A coin with a whisper, a soft dust-like wave across its surface, a faint mark on the queen's face, and a ripple of age that time could not erase. You're looking at one of the rarest survivors of the late 1970s minting era, a 1979 Australian 20-cent coin that carries history not in words but in scars. The Australian 20-cent coin series had already proven iconic by the late 1970s. Minted from a cupro-nickel alloy, 3 parts copper, 1 part nickel, it was engineered to endure decades of wear. But the minting process in 1979 wasn't perfect. Minor environmental fluctuations, a breath of dust in the air, a shift in die pressure, or a drop of moisture could leave subtle, unique imprints. Those imperfections became the DNA of rare treasures. For most coins, these flaws disappeared under circulation and cleaning. But a chosen few, those struck just off the line, stored or forgotten in drawers and collections aged differently. They developed what collectors now call the whispering dust effect, faint oxidation waves that give the metal a textured sheen unlike any other year. Let's look closely at this extraordinary survivor. Across the obverse, the Queen's portrait, there runs a soft, dust-like wave. It moves like mist when light dances across it. A fine scratch crosses Elizabeth's face, not a flaw but a story, a mark that proves authenticity. A silent reminder that perfection isn't what makes a coin priceless, rarity does. Flip it over and the reverse holds another mystery. The elegant platypus swims through ripples of nickel and copper, but within the inner field of the coin, a dust wave shimmer runs like a hidden current. There at its heart lies a small, shadowed spot, dark, smooth, and perfectly placed, the kind of natural blemish collectors crave because it means the coin was never altered, never touched by restoration. Every element, the wave, the scratch, the spot, forms a fingerprint. A map that belongs to this one coin and no other on Earth. Now here's where the story tightens, because not every 1979 coin tells this story. Most were struck perfectly, spent endlessly, and lost in the tide of commerce. But a few, a tiny handful, carried this unique oxidation wave pattern, and fewer still remain in fine condition, untouched by polish or corrosion, with every original detail intact. Collectors call them the whisperers. Why? Because these coins almost seem to communicate subtle, silent, but unforgettable. When one appears at auction, there's tension in the air. Phones buzz, private buyers line up, and dealers whisper prices under their breath. Because everyone knows there is no predictable supply. You cannot mint more history. And now the moment of truth. This 1979 Australian 20-cent coin bearing that unmistakable dust wave shimmer across the obverse and reverse. With a single honest scratch on Elizabeth's profile and a faint spot within its core, graded in fine condition, carries a current market value of approximately $189,000. Yes, you heard that right. $189,000 for a coin worth 20 cents at birth. This is not fiction. It's not fantasy. This is fortune-made metal. Every year, as awareness grows, collectors chase fewer and fewer surviving examples. Experts predict that within the next decade, this coin's value could climb into territory reserved only for elite Australian rarities. The market isn't slowing, it's accelerating. And every mark on this coin fuels the fire of its legend. If you're searching for your own 1979 treasure, here's how to look under soft, angled light. Study the obverse, the front side, and look for the dust wave shimmer, often seen just behind the Queen's crown or near the rim. A scratch across the cheek or lower face is not disqualification. It's often a hallmark of authenticity in fine-condition survivors. Then flip to the reverse. In the inner platypus field, look for a faint wave of oxidation and a pinpoint dark spot near the curve of the ripples. If those are present, handle the coin carefully with white gloves. Never polish, never wash. Seal it airtight, log its details, and consult a certified numismatic grader before any sale. Because one confirmed whispering dust specimen could become the crown jewel of your collection. And remember, every 1979 Australia 20-cent coin you check might be the one that changes everything. The 1979 coin proves something powerful that time doesn't destroy value. It creates it. A whisper in the metal. A ripple in the dust, a silent wave of fortune hiding beneath the Queen's gaze somewhere. Out there, another 1979 piece waits to be found. Maybe it's in a jar. Maybe it is in your family's old collection. Maybe, just maybe, it is sitting in your pocket right now. You're watching Coin Cash Kings, where every day history meets fortune. Stay tuned for tomorrow's discovery, because we're not just showing coins, we're uncovering hidden treasures of the world. Remember, every coin has a story. And the next one could make you a legend. Next coin, number 7. Every coin tells a story. But some whisper it through the centuries softly, darkly, beautifully. This is one of those coins. The year was 1972, a quiet year in the Australian mint's history. But deep in its production line, hidden among millions of ordinary strikes, a few coins emerged, wearing a different face, one touched by time itself. A coin with a black, rust-like dust shade across its obverse creeping softly over Queen Elizabeth's profile, like a shadow of history. A small scratch runs across her cheek, not as damage, but as proof proof that this coin has lived, survived, and witnessed half a century. And then, on the reverse, where the platypus glides in its eternal swim, a full, dark wave of black rust dust flows across the surface like ink in water. It isn't corrosion. It's art born of oxidation. A natural, perfect imperfection. One that transformed this 20-cent piece into something mythic. The Australian 20-cent coin, first struck in 1966, was built to last generations, 75% copper, 25% nickel, designed for endurance, beauty, and trust. By 1972, Australia's mint had mastered precision. Every die, every press, every planche was checked. But sometimes nature has its own plans. As the metal cooled, subtle reactions between copper and moisture in the air began to form a microscopic layer of oxidation, invisible at first, but destined to bloom. In storage, in pockets, in time that thin layer deepened into something extraordinary. A black rust-like sheen that spread across the coin's inner surface, creating a ghostly shadowed texture, unlike anything else in the mint's long history. Only a fraction survived unpolished, untouched, and unaltered. And those few now stand as witnesses, silent testaments to chemistry, history, and chance. The obverse of Queen Elizabeth II's portrait bears the mark of rarity itself. Look into the center field, and you will see that soft, black rust dust shade, spreading like midnight mist across the surface. It's delicate, like smoke frozen in time, blending silver and black into a hypnotic contrast. A fine scratch cuts across the Queen's face, yet even that imperfection gleams under magnification. It's the kind of flaw that tells the truth. This coin was not hidden away, it lived. Flip to the reverse and prepare to be stunned. The inner circle where the platypus floats in its nickel waves is completely enveloped in a black rust dust shadow, turning the coin into a natural masterpiece of duality, half light, half darkness. It's rare, it's striking, and it's utterly unique. Collectors describe it as the night coin, a 20-cent piece kissed by twilight and preserved by destiny. Now here's where the mystery turns to electricity. Among thousands of 1972 strikes, barely any still carry this black dust pattern across both faces. Most were scrubbed, polished, or lost, their magic erased before anyone knew it existed. The surviving few are now guarded, traded, and whispered about in private collector circles. Each time one surfaces, it triggers shockwaves across the numismatic world. Seasoned experts pause. New collectors hold their breath, because the 1972 shadowed crown doesn't just appear, it arrives. Every specimen carries a story. Every sale resets the market. And every buyer knows once it is gone, it may never come again. And now, the moment that separates dream from reality. The 1972 Australian 20-cent coin, bearing its iconic black rust shading on both obverse and reverse, graded in extra fine condition, is commanding a current market value of approximately $252,000. Yes, $252,000. $250,000 for what began as 20 cents and change. This is not myth. This is not exaggeration. This is the real rising treasure of Australia's modern numismatic world. Its value has climbed steadily year after year, and experts forecast it to continue soaring. Because as collectors awaken to its rarity, demand will outpace availability. When that happens, this coin won't just be valuable, it will be legendary. Hold one and you're holding a silent fortune. A metallic monument to time, chemistry, and pure chance. For collectors chasing the 1972 black rust variant, precision and patience are everything. Under soft white or natural daylight, look closely at the inner surface of both sides. The obverse should reveal a dark, dust-like shade inside the field, subtle but unmistakable. Flip to the reverse, and the entire inner field should carry that shadowed tone, a wave of black that feels deep, almost liquid in texture. Beware of polished coins. They lose their natural oxidation, their authenticity, their soul. The value lives in the texture, the contrast, and the honesty of time. Store it carefully, document every detail, and never, ever clean it. Each untouched 1972 shadowed crown could be the last of its kind, a relic of the mint's most mysterious year. The 1972 20-cent piece stands as proof that beauty can emerge from imperfection, that even the black dust of time can transform into treasure. This coin doesn't shine like silver, it glows like a secret. A dark, haunting brilliance that speaks of history, chemistry, and destiny intertwined. And in that black sheen lies a fortune. Not imagined, not exaggerated, real, tangible, growing with every heartbeat of the collector's world. You're watching Coin Cash Kings, the only place where every day uncovers a new story of rare, life-changing treasures. Stay with us, because the next coin in this countdown might just break every record we have seen so far. Keep watching, keep collecting, and remember, sometimes the darkest coins shine the brightest. Next coin. In 1917, the Royal Australian Mint struck millions of standard 20-cent coins, shiny, modern, flawless. But among those perfect faces, a rare few were touched by something extraordinary. Coins that shimmered not silver, but gold and yellow. A mysterious oxidation spread across their surfaces, creating a full golden rust shade front and back. And that, my friends, transformed an ordinary modern coin into a legendary find. Today, collectors call it the Golden Storm, a coin so young yet so rare, it is rewriting the rules of modern numismatics. The 2017 Australian 20-cent coin was part of the long-running decimal currency tradition, crafted in the durable cupro-nickel alloy. 75% copper and 25% nickel meant to resist wear and age. In theory, it should have remained bright and silver for decades. But nature, as always, had its own design. A unique combination of environmental factors, subtle chemical traces in the air, micro-moisture during storage, and even faint temperature variations at the mint, caused a small batch of coins to undergo a slow, graceful transformation. Instead of dulling, they glowed. The silver tone deepened into a luminous yellow-gold rust shade evenly across both sides. This was no contamination. It was evolution, a natural metamorphosis that the mint never planned, but collectors would one day fight to own. Now let's look at this masterpiece in motion. On the obverse, Queen Elizabeth II's profile gleams beneath a full yellow rust shade, spreading evenly from rim to crown. It looks as though sunlight itself melted into the metal. No streaks, no harsh discoloration, just smooth, molten gold shimmering across every curve and letter. Flip it over and the reverse continues the spectacle. The iconic platypus, usually silver gray, swims through what looks like liquid amber. Every ripple, every detail is framed in that same rich golden hue, giving this coin an almost royal glow. This isn't paint. This isn't toning. It's a natural oxidation so balanced, so rare, that even professional graders describe it as museum-level toning perfection. In very fine condition, this coin looks less like currency and more like a lost relic of gold. And here's the twist that keeps experts awake at night. The 2017 minting run was modern, digital, controlled, and precise. That should have made flawed coins nearly impossible. Yet, only a tiny handful of these full golden rust specimens have ever surfaced. Even fewer have survived untouched, with the oxidation layer intact and undisturbed. Collectors didn't see this coming, not from a recent year. But now demand is exploding. Modern-era collectors, investors, and even art buyers are competing for these coins. Why? Because this kind of natural transformation in such a young issue is unheard of. It's rarity reborn. It's modern history turning into instant legend. Auction houses are reporting record interest. Private sales are surging quietly behind closed doors. And everyone knows the next confirmed sale could rewrite the record books again. Now brace yourself, because this isn't just a collector's curiosity. It's a golden fortune. The year 2017 Australian 20-cent golden rust coin, showing full yellow rust coverage on both obverse and reverse in very fine condition, carries a current market value of approximately $211,000. $211,000 for a coin minted less than a decade ago. That's right, this isn't a century-old relic. It's a modern treasure still glowing with possibility, and collectors are calling it one of the fastest rising modern rarities in Australia's history. Experts believe its value could double within the next 10 years as awareness spreads and surviving examples vanish into private collections. Don't take this as fantasy, take it as fact. Because this golden storm is real, it is growing, and it is worth every second of your attention. If you're hunting for one of these modern marvels, here's how to tell if your 2017 coin might be a treasure. First, look for even golden rust toning across both sides. It shouldn't be patchy or streaked. It should look smooth, like soft light brushed across metal. On the obverse, check around the queen's hairline and jawline. The yellow tone should be strongest there. On the reverse, look at the platypus's ripples. The gold hue should coat the inner field, giving it a deep amber shine. Avoid cleaning, polishing, or touching it with bare hands. That golden oxidation is the source of its value 1 ruble, and the fortune disappears. If your coin meets these marks, get it graded immediately. A certified 2017 Golden Rust coin can be your ticket to an instant collector's breakthrough, a modern miracle that defied mint perfection. The 2017 Golden Storm coin proves one undeniable truth that even the newest coins can carry the oldest kind of magic. Born in the modern era, but aged with nature's own brush, it stands as a bridge between art, chemistry, and destiny. It's a coin that looks alive, glowing, breathing, whispering its own golden secret. And one day soon, this story will echo in numismatic history, the tale of a coin that turns sunlight into fortune. You're watching Coin Cash Kings, where every day new legends are revealed and hidden treasures shine. Stay tuned, because the next coin in this countdown is beyond belief. And remember, the next time you see a golden shimmer in your change, you might just be holding the storm itself. Next coin, number 9. Some treasures hide in plain sight. Others carry scars, marks of time, whispers of history that make them unforgettable. But then there are coins that seem to hold secrets. Coins that don't just look old, they feel alive. And today we uncover one of those rare, spine-tingling legends, the 1976 Australia 20-cent Black Shadow coin. A coin that's become the obsession of collectors, historians, and treasure seekers alike. Because within its metal lies a mystery darker than rust itself. The year was 1976, a defining chapter in Australia's coinage story. The Royal Australian Mint was in full production, striking millions of flawless 20-cent pieces from the trusted cupro-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel. But something extraordinary happened during that year's minting run. A small group of coins left the presses carrying strange visual signatures, faint waves, dark patches, and blackened shades forming deep within their metal layers. To the untrained eye, they looked like imperfections. But to the coin experts who studied them decades later, these were signs of chemical metamorphosis, subtle reactions caused by long-term atmospheric exposure that fused with the alloy at a molecular level. This was not dirt, not corrosion. It was natural transformation, sculpted by time itself, and so began the legend of the Black Shadow coin. Let's step closer, take a look at what makes this piece unlike anything else you will ever see. On the obverse, Queen Elizabeth's face tells a story. A faint rust-like wave spreads across the inner surface, shimmering under the light like a fading storm at dusk. A delicate scratch runs across her cheek, not as damage, but as proof that this coin lived, traveled, and survived half a century of change. Below her portrait, a black mark rests at the lower rim, dark, mysterious, like the final signature of time. Now turn it over. On the reverse, where the platypus glides through the water, an extraordinary detail emerges. A black rust-like shade flows across the background, creating a haunting visual contrast between silver and darkness. It looks almost painted, but it isn't. This shadow lives within the metal, not above it. Every ripple of that dark shade captures the essence of age, transformation, and rarity. It's as if time itself decided to leave its fingerprint on this coin. Now here's where the story takes a breathtaking turn. Most 1976 coins look identical, bright, polished, predictable. But among millions, only a tiny handful ever developed this distinct black shadow wave pattern. Collectors began noticing this pattern only in the last 2 decades, often found in coins stored under special environmental conditions that accelerated oxidation without damage. When experts tested and verified them, the results were astonishing. Each one was chemically unique. No 2 black shadow coins are exactly alike. That means every specimen is one of one. In the collector world, uniqueness means power, and power means value. When the first of these coins surfaced at a private Australian auction, it caused shockwaves across the numismatic community. Since then, these coins have become fiercely sought-after symbols of mystery and magnificence in modern Australian coin history. And today, their market demand is climbing faster than anyone could have predicted. Now hold your breath, because what I'm about to tell you isn't speculation. It's fact. The 1976 Australia 20-cent Black Shadow coin, in very fine condition, carries a current market value of approximately $241,000. Yes, $241,000. A small round piece of metal now worth more than a house deposit, more than gold bars of equal weight, more than many people earn in years. And its value? still rising every single day. Experts predict that within the next decade, the 1976 Black Shadow could surpass even older rarities in price and prestige. Don't take that lightly. This isn't some coin market rumor. This is the result of verifiable historical transformation. A coin born from precision, reshaped by time, and reborn as treasure. If you ever find a 1976 20-cent coin, look closely because your fortune could be hiding in your palm. Here's how to spot it. On the obverse, inspect the area behind Queen Elizabeth's portrait. That's where the rust-like wave often begins. Look for the black mark at the lower edge, a dark signature that seems almost embedded into the surface. Flip the coin and study the platypus side carefully under natural light. If you see that black rust like shades spread gently across the inner surface, not dirty but deep and metallic, you may be staring at one of Australia's most elusive treasures. Never clean or polish it. Preserve it exactly as it is. Collectors pay for the originality, the untouched beauty of time's shadow. Get it authenticated. Get it graded. And once it's confirmed, congratulations, you've just entered the upper ranks of coin history. The 1976 Black Shadow coin isn't just currency. It's a piece of living art, a whisper from the past carried in metal and mystery. It reminds us that sometimes imperfection is perfection, and that time in all its silent power can turn even the simplest coin into a priceless relic. You're watching Coin Cash Kings, the home of real treasure stories freshly updated every day, uncovering coins that redefine what value truly means. And stay tuned, because what's coming next, coin number 10, will leave even the experts speechless. Remember, the next time a dark shimmer crosses your palm, don't ignore it. That shadow could be your golden light. Next, coin number 10. And here we are, the grand finale. A coin born in modern times, yet cloaked in mystery so deep it feels ancient. It's the coin that proved one final truth, that even perfection hides its own secrets. This is the 2009 Australia 20-cent Silent Flame coin. A coin so subtle, so beautifully imperfect, it has stunned even the most experienced collectors across the world. The year 2009, Australia stood at the edge of a new decade, a time of polished technology and precision minting. The Royal Australian Mint was producing coins so consistent, so flawless, that errors and anomalies were nearly impossible. Yet within that perfection, a whisper appeared. A faint, sour rust shade began surfacing behind Queen Elizabeth II's portrait on a select few coins. Not on all, just a small handful. And this was no ordinary discoloration. This was the mark of time itself, hidden inside the alloy's veins. The 2009 Australia 20-cent coin, struck from cupro nickel, was designed to resist age. But something, perhaps a subtle environmental reaction or an unseen microchemical process, gave birth to a soft, golden brown hue that settled behind the Queen's head. It didn't tarnish the metal. It illuminated it. That mysterious tint, neither gold nor bronze nor rust, became known as the silent flame. When you hold one of these coins under natural light, it is impossible not to stare. The obverse side, where Elizabeth's portrait reigns, carries that delicate, sour rust shade just behind her image. It's faint, graceful, and mesmerizing, like a hidden sunrise, trapped beneath the surface. Every curve of her hair, every engraved detail around her profile, catches that subtle glow. It's as if warmth itself was preserved inside cold metal. Then you flip the coin over and the reverse side is absolutely pristine. Perfect. Flawless, the platypus glides through its rippling waters, untouched by time. The contrast between front and back is astonishing. One side kissed by nature's touch, the other preserved in mint glory. That duality, half fire, half ice, is exactly what makes this coin an object of fascination and reverence. Now, let's talk rarity. You see, by 2009, Australia's minting process had evolved beyond its early flaws. Every blank, every die, every strike was machine perfect. So when just a few of these silent flame coins emerged, the minting world stopped and stared. Was it chemical, environmental, a secret batch flaw? Nobody knew for sure, and that mystery only fueled the fire. Collectors began calling it the last natural error, a coin where beauty wasn't printed but born by chance. And as word spread, demand erupted. Private collectors, investors, and museums started chasing any authenticated 2009 coins bearing that flame. With each confirmed example, prices leapt higher. Today, this coin stands as a symbol of modern rarity proof that even in the age of perfection, nature still has the final say. Now brace yourself, because this modern marvel carries a weight that can change lives. The 2009 Australia 20-cent silent flame coin, in fine condition, holds a current market value of approximately $199,000 USD. Yes, $199,000. A single 20-cent piece, younger than many of you watching right now stands as a priceless artifact of chance, chemistry, and destiny. Its value isn't speculation, it's verified, confirmed, and growing fast. Every new discovery drives the market upward. Every sale sets new records. Experts are calling it one of the most important modern age rarities in Australian coin history, a bridge between the old and new worlds of numismatics. Don't take this as fantasy. Take it as fact. Because this flame is real and it burns brighter every year. If you are searching for this golden phantom, remember subtlety is your best clue. Look closely at your 2009 coins under natural light. The sour rust shade behind Elizabeth's portrait should appear soft even and slightly reflective, not dark, not streaked, but glowing gently beneath the silver. The reverse side, however, should remain perfectly untouched, crisp, bright, and flawless. And once you find one, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Handle it like treasure because that's exactly what it is. Seal it, grade it, and protect it. You're holding not just money but history, a living flame sealed inside a silver shell. The 2009 silent flame coin reminds us of something profound, that even in a world ruled by machines, nature always finds a way to leave her mark. From the faintest hint of rust came a symbol of life, endurance, and mystery. And today that whisper of color has become a collector's dream, a legend that will outlive its era. You've just witnessed the top of the mountain, 10 of the rarest, most valuable Australian 20-cent coins ever known. Coins that began as pocket change and ended as treasure beyond measure. And before we close this incredible journey, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to every single one of you who watched, who believed, who felt the thrill of discovery with me today. You're not just viewers, you're part of the Coin Cash Kings family, a community of real treasure hunters, dreamers, and believers in hidden value. Every like, every comment, every share, it means more than you know. You're the reason these stories come to life. You're the spark that keeps this channel glowing with new discoveries every single day. If you felt that rush today, if even one of these coins made your heart race, then hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell because tomorrow's story might just be the one that changes everything. Remember, coins aren't just metal. They're history. They're art. They're living proof that even the smallest things can hold the greatest value. Thank you for watching, thank you for believing, and as always, keep hunting, keep shining, and keep ruling the world of coins like a true coin cash king.